Hello YouTube. Now before I go into today's video, which is going to be telling you about 3 different types of propaganda that the mainstream narrative uses on you on a daily basis, let's talk about propaganda in the financial news. I mean, these markets are so unbelievably fake. It is just not even funny. Oh boy. Okay. Markets today, stock market, across the board in the red. I wonder what the bad news was. Usually bad news pushes these markets through the roof. Stock market is so disconnected from reality to what's actually going on. But I guess today, maybe it was a reality check with these markets for them to all finish in the red. And yesterday, the 10 and 2-year yields, the heavily inverted 10 and 2-year yields, were massively manipulated yesterday. I mean, the 10-year yesterday went down by like 13.7 basis points, and the 2-year was down by about 10 or 11 basis points. Both big drops. And I mean, who else would be buying into these mortgage securities and bonds, the bonds market? Well, I think we know who. The Feds, they're the biggest buyer right now. And today, we look at the 10 and 2-year, 10-year up by about 4.5 basis points. The 2-year up, when I last checked about 5 minutes ago, by 6.5 basis points. So those heavily inverted yields are just continuing to go up, which of course, if you have any kind of debt, it's going to make your credit card debt payments go up when that happens. Just bad news all across the board with these markets. Although anyone that's actually really following it, and if you're watching my video, you're probably one of the people that's at least questioning these markets and the validity. So you know the deal. All right, now it's time to talk about 3 different types of news media that the legacy, because let's face it, they're not the mainstream anymore. We are. People on YouTube, people like Steve Kelly Delivers, that hopefully you're subscribed to. Hopefully you like and share and do all that YouTube-y stuff. All right, let's get on with it. One type of news that the media uses as a distraction, or distraction is first type, that would be something that they circulate everywhere to try to cover up something that's going on. And an example of that would be UFOs and aliens. I'm sure you guys remember when the whole Hunter Biden thing was going on. Of course, they weren't covering that. So what was being displayed all over the mainstream news? Aliens, little green men from Mars. And the mothership is still somewhere out there in our solar system, I guess. Maybe it ran out of gas. Maybe that's why they're coming to Earth to take our fuel reserves. Maybe the Biden administration will give it to them at a song and a dance. Who knows? But anyway, that is a type of news that they will put out to distract you. That's distraction propaganda, because have we heard anything else about old aliens? I mean, they were pumping it up for a little while. There was this 8-foot or 10-foot tall aliens in Vegas. And then in Peru, in this village, you had the Predator and his friends showed up, right? But in general, you really haven't heard anything about alien talk anymore, right? Because that was everywhere all at once at the appropriate time to distract you from the Hunter Biden case, right? Because they don't want anything important like that being questioned. That's when they're going to pull out propaganda distraction news. Now, another type of fake news that they'll put out is propaganda pushing a narrative. And what that example of that would be, of course, climate change, right? Everything is climate change. If you drop dead of a heart attack and you're a 17-year-old athlete, climate change. If you're a triathlete that collapses of a heart attack, climate change. Because they love to push that narrative, especially with wildfires that happened in Maui, which are very sus as hell if you ask me. Arson. Okay. So that's an example of propaganda news pushing a narrative. And the third type of propaganda news that I wanted to go over was propaganda news that is designed to divide. Okay? What divided us 3.5 years ago with a lot of riots and a whole movement, not just across the country, I'm talking across the whole world. Remember a guy named George Kirby? Remember him? I'm not going to say his real last name because I don't want the YouTube algorithm to pick up on that and suppress this information, because God knows they're already doing that. But yeah, George Kirby was put out there. And of course, they put someone out there who's questionable in terms of being, a good moral person. I mean, of course, we know that George Kirby wasn't. He was a career criminal. But they'll appeal to a political side that has, let's say, lower intellectual capacity, okay? They'll tug at their feelings because that's how they get their attention. Forget about the criminal rap sheet that this guy had, and forget about the fact that it was really fentanyl overdose that killed him. Now, we're going to just say that it was police brutality and we need to defund the police, right? And that actually goes in line with number 2. So 2 and 3 kind of go together there. All right. Anyway, I just wanted to make this video kind of short and sweet, just to get some information to you out there. Again, be sure to like, share, subscribe, do all that fun YouTube-y stuff. And until the next time, it has been another successful delivery.